the Busy Guy Show. My name is Vince LoCascio, and I'm a busy guy. I've got William F. Ludwig III, better known as Bill, or B3, with WFL III Drums.
How you doing, Vince?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me. I'm a busy guy.
Yeah, and so are you. Welcome back to part 2 of an interview with our friend here, Bill III. Can you tell us, so you've got, obviously we got the long history of the Ludwig Drums, the family, and then how it came about that you started WFL III in 2014.
Well, as you know, my father and I sold Ludwig in 1981, and so I've been away from the drum industry for a long time, and I've always missed it. And I'd started going to some of the local drum shows, and everybody would say, "Oh, it's great to see you. You know, when are you going to start your own company?" And I thought, I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it because it seemed too much of an undertaking. And then in 2013, well, it was 2014, my daughters and I moved out to the suburbs, and when we were getting settled, I was in between jobs, office jobs, and I didn't know what I was going to do, and I looked at this picture of my grandfather, and he looked so proud testing drums in the factory, and so happy, and just his face. And for some reason, I took that picture off the wall, and on the back, in my father's handwriting, it said senior, starting over. I think it said age 63, but I looked at the date on the picture on the front and figured out he was actually 59 when he started over with WFL Drum Company. I was 59 at the time, and I thought, that's it. If he can do it, I can do it. And that's what got me set on this course to start WFL III Drums.
That's been quite a, well, your experience helped, obviously, but quite a undertaking.
Oh yeah, yeah, and you know, I look back at it now and say, gee, I was a single father raising 2 young daughters. Oh, I'll start a drum company in my spare time. I don't know what I was thinking, but anyhow, it's coming together, and I had a lot of support and help from friends getting to this point. And
well, it's obviously a passion.
yes,
Which is, we all believe is the number one ingredient in succeeding.
right,
and wanting to do it.
right.
To talk a little bit about the drums themselves, they're all custom made. So if I go into a store, whatever, I mean, you can elaborate obviously, I'm picking my color, what other options am I picking?
Well, the snare drums, which I started with snare drums because I had a sound in my head, you know, of what a good snare drum should sound like. And they come in aluminum or wood shells, and the drum kits come in wood shells only. And the wood shells are 6-ply, but they're thin. They're the thinnest 6-ply on the market for resonance. And because they're thin, we put a support ring top and bottom, and they sound phenomenal. Everybody plays them and says, oh, the classic sound. But with the metal shell drum that I started with, the snare drum, when I decided to do this, I called about 10 or so boutique drum companies around the United States to get someone to make my line of drums, and didn't get a real warm welcoming at all. So then a friend of mine said, well, why don't you call Mike Dorfman, who I know, you know, owns Trick Drums, started Trick Drum Company, percussion products. And so I called Mike to have lunch with him, and he goes, yeah, I'll help you. I want to be in on this. And we were talking about, you know, different things that would set me apart. And of course, being that I can't use my name and it's WFL III Drums, Mike said, let's laser cut the 3 through the shell. And I said, that's brilliant. Because when Mike makes a metal shell drum, when it's flat metal, is when he laser cuts all the holes, the bearing edge, the snare bed, and now the 3. So it's absolutely perfect every time. And I said, oh great, I love it, that'll look cool. Well, then after we did one, or the first run, people were saying, man, this drum's crisper. It's got quicker response. And it's because the vent hole is bigger. So bigger venting allows the bottom head to react quicker to the snare, and it really does help the sound. And so it's functional as well as looking cool.
And typically a snare, I don't know if you call it the air inlet, outlet, but
Air
it's just a
vent.
circle.
Yes. Yeah, it's a standard hole, small as a vent. So the bigger the vent, the more quicker response for the bottom head.
And for all those who want to learn more about Mike Dorfman and Czech drums, he was also on the Busy Guys.
That's right. And he's a great guy and helped me so much. Just, in the very beginning, he was making the shells for me and the lugs, because they were this lug, the machine lug. Because
And the logo's on there as well.
Yes, because the machine lug, you could make a small batch of them. The cast lug you have to pay for the cast, which is a lot, and then you have to buy tens of thousands of them. So I couldn't afford that. So he was making the lugs for me, and then he gave me a quarter of his shop, so I could assemble drums. So I'd take the girls to school, run up to Trick, make a few drums, come home, try to sell them, and that's how it started.
You mentioned in another interview how just the feel of being back in the drum factory was great.
Oh yeah.
And Mike would say, well, here's this, but I gotta go back to work.
Yeah,
something. You told a little story about that.
Yeah, and he, like I said, gave me this little table area, and I was just happy to be making drums.
I kind of asked in the part one about Ludwig Drum Company and now William III. Why not cymbals?
That's just a whole nother world of nightmare manufacturing wise, melting metals, getting the right metals to put the cymbal together. And I just want to leave that up to the experts, and Zildjian's been doing that for so long, 1630, I think. I'm not gonna try to.
Where are they at? What country did they start?
Well, they started in Turkey. I forget the town, which city, but then they moved it over to Boston, and now it's actually two companies, Sabian and Zildjian. Sabian's in Canada.
And your drums cover the whole spectrum as far as people who play them are different genres, different styles,
Yes.
and all kinds of music. What can you tell me about that?
Well, because of the sound I was going for, they lend themselves a lot towards rock and roll or heavy metal, but also to jazz because they're so resonant. And so they do cover a lot of different areas. But we've got quite a few top name rock players using them, and a couple of great jazz drummers.
And the factory's in the Kansas City area?
Yes, yeah. Originally, looking where I wanted the factory, I didn't want to be in Chicago because we have union problems, and there are no unions in Kansas, so there we are. And it's a great area, great workforce, great centrally located to ship.
Nice. What can you tell me? It's obviously, we can tell later about the website, but it's on the website. The snare collection that you have, and a beautiful display.
Oh, well, that again, when I started with snare drums, it was the main thought process is every drummer needs a couple of snare drums, either for different gigs or to have as a backup, or just because they like them. And a lot of snare drummers will have 8 or 10 snare drums in their collection or arsenal. So to hit that home a little harder, we developed a snare stand that holds 6 snare drums with our logo at the top, laser cut through the metal, and very nice graphics on the side showing off what drums are on the stand. And we have a cross section of 5.5 aluminum, 6.5 aluminum, maple, a bird's eye maple, a mahogany, and then a standard maple. in a couple of different sizes. So we offer that to the dealer. They buy the snare drums, the 6 snare drums, they get the stand free. And we're starting that the first of this year, 2023, and get that into dealers around the nation. And then, of course, people will say, well, gee, do they make kits? Sure. What color would you like? Because I don't want to have dealers stocking drum kits that sit on the floor for a long time because they bought the wrong color.
Mm-hmm.
So why not give people what they want? We're a custom built factory anyhow. And you can either order directly off the website, but I always suggest to people, price out your kit off the website, then go to your local dealer and see what kind of a deal he'll make. Because most of the time dealers will give you a little extra discount.
Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned, the snares, the 6 different, not only cosmetically might look different, but everyone has a different sound.
Yes, because we've got the 2 sizes of aluminums, but then we've got our new snare that we just came out with, which is a brass shell with black chrome over it, and then the mahogany shell, which is a different layup than the bird's eye maple, and then the 5.5 maple. So you've got a real nice cross section of sounds. I mean, if you laid them up all next to each other, it would be different.
Interesting. And then after seeing a video, my newest hero is Bobby Torello.
Yes.
Because there's a video out there of him. All 6 are set up.
Yeah.
And he's like a kid in a candy store, right?
He's like the Tasmanian devil. He just goes wild when he gets sticks in his hands.
Something, if we could find a picture of it, I know it's out there in a little video, is about Otto.
Yes.
Tell us about Otto. He's not a person.
Well, we were, I had a new partner join me a year ago. And when he did, I went down to the factory to just see, exactly what was going on closer. I had a former partner that had to move on to his other business ventures, and I wanted to really get in there and find out how things were going. And I was astonished when I saw a guy taping a shell, measuring, taping for the lugs. And I said, how long does it take you to do that? He said, about 2 days. And I thought, oh man.
Each drum?
Yeah. So I thought, the first thing that came to my mind was, gee, that's the way my grandfather did it. And I talked to my new partner, and I said, we got to get an automated drilling machine. And he said, well, look into it. I said, they're real expensive. He says, yeah, but if that'll help, let's look into it. So my general manager down at the factory, Sib, did some research and found an outfit that was very near our shop, a distributor for Herco machines, and they are the state-of-the-art computer-controlled drilling machines. And he came into our shop. I heard about it. 2 days later, I said, I'll be down there. So 2 days later, he came back with a simulation on the computer of what his machine could do with a drum shell, which was drill all the holes, put the bearing edge on, put the snare bed in, and anything else you wanted it to do in 3 minutes and 22 seconds.
Compared to 2 days.
To 2 days. And when the guy's doing it by hand, drilling it by hand, every now and then the drill skips, you scratch a shell, you throw that out. Otto, I named it Otto because it was a German engineer that helped with the company, and I liked Otto for automatic. But Otto doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah.
Otto checks the drum shell before he starts doing his thing, and he's with 1/100th, I think, of a centimeter, for accuracy. And it's just phenomenal. So now we've really stepped into the 2000s, with that. And I'm very happy with that whole thing.
It reminds me of, talking to Mike Dorfman, because he was
Yeah.
a race car mechanic first.
Right, right.
So he took it that level too, where everything's precision
Yes.
instead of punch press kind
Right,
of thing.
right. That's why I was so happy to work with him when I found out he does all the holes and work on the aluminum shells when they're flat before he forms them. So it's with a laser, so that's
Yeah.
precise.
It's like a marriage made in heaven there.
Yeah.
And then what about promoting? If you could tell people who don't know what NAMM show is and what the Chicago Drum Show is.
Well, the NAMM show is the big worldwide attended music merchants, the National Association of Music Merchants. And that's for everybody to get out and have displays and show off their new products, new colors, things like that. But NAMM is, and that's mainly dealer orientated. Dealers visit that show. And we're small and we're not quite there yet for NAMM. So I find it very beneficial to go to the smaller drum shows, like there's a Las Vegas Drum Show, Chicago Drum Show, and Nashville Drum Show. And those three, I'm telling you, the people come there with money to buy.
Yeah.
They're not just looking around. They want to walk out the door with a drum or 12. And it's an exciting, fun show. They have clinics. A lot of some of the companies will bring in their endorsers just to hang out at the booth. Like we'll bring Bobby T and let him loose. And it's a lot of fun and a great way to get exposure.
Just on the NAMM show, a couple of things. One is, I have to tell my NAMM show story. It's
Okay.
just, a buddy and I went to the NAMM show because it was at McCormick Place.
Oh, yeah.
And in the background, he had to call. He was going to call and work to say he wasn't coming in because he was sick. But we were at the NAMM show. Just while he's making the phone call,
Yeah.
Doc Severance is like 20 feet away.
Yeah.
Starts playing.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm not feeling.
Yeah. Oh, I was at that show.
Were you?
Yeah, yeah.
Does the show travel?
Well, no. It used to be winter NAMM was in Anaheim, California, and summer NAMM was in Chicago. And then the union stepped in and made McCormick Place very difficult to do business in, so they moved it to Nashville, summer NAMM.
Okay.
But the winter one's always still in Anaheim.
And then also on the note of NAMM show, the interview with your dad, which is almost an hour long.
Wow.
Phenomenal.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's just very, very interesting. A lot of the information I pulled to do this one was from
Great.
him.
Great.
If you could share quickly the story about, because I asked you what his reaction was to drum machines. And
Oh,
so,
yeah. Well, when they came out the Lynn drum machine, I went into Dad's office and said, we got a problem here with this drum machine computer thing. It's putting drummers out of work. And he said, oh, don't worry, it happened before. And I said, what do you mean it happened before? Well, my grandfather made about, 10 or 12 different sound effects for the silent movie era. Horses' hoofs, gunshots, train whistles. And when they came out with talking movies, every drummer was put out of work the next day.
they were playing right in the theater.
Yeah. There'd be 3 or 4 drummers behind the screen with a big long table of sound effects, and they'd watch the movie and they'd add the sounds, like the Foley artists. I kind of think that's where the Foley artist thing started. And the next day, every drummer was out of work because they talking movies,
And you survived.
and we survived. So Dad was right, because the Lynn machine is faded out and drummers are back.
Live drummers.
Yeah,
Can't beat it.
that's right.
We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to chat with Maggie.
Great.
Maggie Ludwig for just a little bit.
Imagine a world with more music.
Rhythms and melodies,
that dare us to move.
when our differences divide us. I want to create for beautiful moments.
Music that inspires.
And fills the air with hope.
makes frequencies that resonate.
What I create will help me find my voice.
Something powerful and strong.
It won't be easy. It might seem impossible. But we will create anthems that unite us.
Our music can change the world.
You're watching I'm a Busy Guy with the host, Vince LoCascio. Recorded on location for public access television.
Welcome back. We're here with Maggie Ludwig, daughter of B3 of WFL III Drums.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, busy girl.
Yeah, I am a busy girl.
So, tell me a little bit about, you've been around drums your entire life.
Oh, my whole entire life. My first concert was actually seeing Kiss when I was 5 behind the sound booth with my dad. 5 years old. Yeah, and Gene Simmons did his Spitting Blood act. And my dad thought I was going to be so freaked out, but I loved it. I asked him when I could see the man who spits blood again. So, I mean, it explains a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is obviously, I mean, an interesting business, but the fact that it's your great-grandpa started it.
Right.
And what other stories you want to share with me? Maybe about Ringo and being on stage?
Yeah, you know, I danced on Ringo Starr's stage with my little sister. I think I was about 7. He let us behind his drum set and everything. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Going to drum convention, the Chicago Drum Convention almost every year since I was about 5. My little stuffed animal.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the shows, because your dad's very proud of the fact of how much knowledge you have about drums.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to try to sell drums, even though I know not too much about them. I know the different shells, different colors. I'm really good at selling T-shirts and mugs and lanyards, and but I love being around drums, and drummers are crazy, and so am I. So it works out.
Let me ask you a question. Do your people you go to school with, friends that you meet and stuff, they know obviously about the history of your family?
Yeah, Ludwig drums. Yeah, I mean, I usually explain that, Beatles played Ludwig, and that's their aha moment. Oh, it's really cool. And I've always gone backstage, to concerts with my dad, and it's always through a secret door in the back, which is always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excitement of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Tough question. Are you a drummer?
I know
it's not a tough question, but it's an obvious I'd have to ask.
Yeah, right. I'm not a drummer, but I love music, and I'm a singer. So my appreciation for music is there. I love drums. I love hearing drums live.
And your sister Olivia?
Yeah.
Same thing? I mean, is she a drummer?
Same thing. So she did percussion back in middle school, but sadly they had her play the bell. So she was just kind of like dinging along in the back. No longer plays anymore, but still the appreciation for music is there. And yeah, we love live music. And
does she go to the shows too, or?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Every Chicago drum show we're there together. She's my little sidekick. We usually point people along to my dad for further explanation on the drums, what kind, and I usually point out the vent hole. It's really cool. That's a 3 cut into the shell, and it's really unique.
It is. I mean, I was telling your dad, I watched the video when he's explaining it like 3 times to make sure I know what he was talking about, because there's actually a hole in the drum.
Right.
It's the logo. It's laser cut.
Yeah.
And best of all, it proves the sound of it.
Exactly. And the history.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you, to keep you a busy girl, what do you do if you don't mind?
I work at Trader Joe's, which I love. I've been there over a year now. It's going on 2 in September. And I babysit 3 little kids twice a week.
Nice.
So I'm busy.
You're busy?
I'm
You are
definitely
busy,
busy.
girl.
6 days a week. Oh yeah.
What was I gonna say? It was tell me a bit about it. You must be so proud of your dad.
Oh, I am. Yeah, you know, he's following his dreams. He was out of the drum business for quite a while. I think WFL III is 8 years old now. Started really slow. He started out with just 2 types of snares, aluminum shells, both of them, black and white. So seeing him grow into, you know, making these amazing, you know, different types of aluminum shells, and we got powder coat, and we got popper maple shells, different layers of wood. It's just, he really cares about the sound, and he cares about the drum business as a whole, and, you know, music is everything. So I'm super proud of him for following his dreams, and he's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stressful, but he's doing it.
It's like I mentioned to him, is, you know, when you have a passion for something, which obviously he does, you do it much better. And
exactly.
You know, from my learning and reading and all that, what a company.
I know, yeah, the passion is there. He just cares about the sound of the drums and the quality. And yeah.
What do you see for the future of WFL III?
You
What
know,
would you like to see?
yeah, continue to grow, which he is. He's becoming very popular. And hopefully I can do some advertisement in the future and help out with, you know, social media maybe, and get more involved.
Social media is everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it seems like, because we mentioned he's available for the website,
Right.
Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about Snapchat.
No, I don't know about
I
Snapchat.
usually like to make fun about Snapagram.
Yeah,
Snapaface.
Snapagram, that's good. That's a
Snapaface.
good, hey, we should come up with a new app.
Yeah,
Right?
you never know.
Yeah.
Well, I can't tell you what a thrill this is.
Oh,
And well, I have the opportunity to thank our friend Al Stash here
yeah.
for executive producer, director, lights, sound, and everything for being here today.
Right.
And to you.
Oh, thank
And then
you.
hopefully maybe in the future I get the opportunity to meet and interview Olivia as
Yeah,
well.
totally. That's been
So-
great. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. You can, and as the tradition, hope you like cannolis, but here's some fresh cannolis for you.
Oh, sweet. Thank you very
No
much.
pun intended.
Yeah.
Honest, I wish you and your dad and WFL III all the luck in the world.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. And thanks for the cannolis.
All right.
But I'm a busy girl. I gotta get ready for work.
All right. You are busy.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
What kind of cannolis do we have in here? Ooh.
3 chocolate chip and the other 3 are
Ooh,
pistachio.
Yum.
You said you're a singer.
Oh, I am.
4 to 8 bars a cappella. Go.
Wow. Oh. Thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ringo didn't get a cannoli.
And reading the Ludwig catalogs and seeing their pictures, never dreaming to meet them, I was fine with it until I got to the front of the church at the end of the service. Jim and Bunny Carlos and B3 and a bunch of us were putting the drums on, getting ready to play, and it sort of hit me what I was playing for.
Hello up there. It's Vince and Ludwig come back to honor you, fallen heroes of the Republic.